So I actually reached out to Zoe on Twitter when Twitter was like the thing.
Popping.
I was like,
Yeah.
yo, man, I'm a huge fan of your music. Love what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to work on you with some music. So he gave me like the prices, like a regular
Sure.
person would give you prices.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, well, I ain't ready for that yet. We're going to come back to him in a couple years. But then I'm his music director. Like, it's crazy how that works. But
Wow.
like,
Oh my goodness.
it's nothing but a blessing, man. But I was like, I'm going to work with this guy. I'm going to work with this guy.
Just focus on the good. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just focus on the good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Just focus on the good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just focus on the good. Oh, I'm good, yeah. I'm good, I'm good. You good. I'm good, you good. We good. I'm good, I'm good. You good. I'm good, you just we good. Just focus on the good. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just focus on the good. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Just focus on the good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just focus on the good. Oh, I'm good, yeah.
I am Portia Starr,
And you know I'm your girl, Gwen Nation.
and this is the Just Focus on the Good podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited about our guest that we have today. So let me go ahead, P. Let me go ahead and just read off, what we got going on here.
Please.
Who we have in the studio with us today.
Celebrity.
All right, so we have Grammy nominated recording artist and native Detroit of Michigan, Saxappeal. Let me say it one more time. Grammy nominated. Recording artist and native of Detroit, Michigan, Saxappeal. Truly has a name for himself in the music industry. This ambitious young artist have traveled from coast to coast, performing from intimate venues in Detroit to large-scale events in Chicago, Phoenix, New Orleans, Cincinnati, Indiana, Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, Trinidad, Paris, France, and Europe, just to name a few. Baby, that's just
to name a few.
Okay. I'm gonna just leave that there. Saxappeal is fresh off the road after performing with R&B legend Charlie Wilson of the Gap Band. Other notable artists that he has teamed up with is Grammy Award-winning Dwele, which we know that's a Detroit native right there. Okay, all right. You got Dwele, you have Kajan, you have Zoe. Oh my God, who is one of my favorites? Carmen Rogers from the Foreign Exchange, Tall Black Man, Deborah Bond, and Grammy-nominated indie soul artist Eric Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce to the playground of Just Focus for the Good, Saxappeal.
Yes.
That's one heck of an intro, man.
Oh, honey.
Make me sound like I'm important.
Listen.
I mean, you are.
Look, I
What you
appreciate y'all.
saying?
That was
We're
all right.
excited.
What
We're
you
excited.
said?
Listen, you want me to do it again?
Come on.
What you said?
What up,
We're
though?
so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
I am honored. Okay.
Yes,
We
yes.
ain't never had no nominee.
Grammy nominated.
Can't say that no more.
Listen,
Look, this
okay,
is groundbreaking
okay.
for everybody, man. I'm honored to be here amongst my sisters, man. This is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
So, yes, indeed.
And we will bring you right back when it's Grammy Award winning.
Okay,
it is.
okay, and
Okay,
will.
And
Yes,
will.
And will.
So it was, for us, it was very important because when we were at our table, trying to figure out who we wanted to bring on the first season, it was very important who we had on our first season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we wanted to have people from different genres, and we wanted to have different important people or people that we sought to be important.
Absolutely.
And so when we got to music, because I'm in the music scene, there was a list of people that I had, and Portia said, Saxappeal should come.
Now I ain't say it like that.
Yes, you did, girl. I'm gonna tell the tea child.
All right.
And I was like, okay. And so for me, now it meant something for me for you to come. And I thought, because he was on my top 5,
You know,
right?
for sure, yeah.
And so, but I wanted to know why she wanted you to be on it. And what did you say?
So, thank you for that.
Not to put you on blast, sis, but
It be your friends, y'all. It be your friends. Gwen is in the music industry, and I didn't just want to do a singer or a hip hop artist because that's typical. I wanted someone who was great at what they do. I love instruments. I love live music. I love just great sounds.
Cool.
And I was like, we might as well do Saxappeal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love what you do. Your stuff is absolutely amazing. You are a dope being. I've watched you for many years, and I admire you as an artist.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Look, that's
And so with that, you know, what made you, first of all, the saxophone is a beautiful instrument in and of itself, but you have literally made it your own.
Yeah.
When you play the saxophone, and I can really speak to this because I've traveled the world with you,
Yeah,
and we'll get to that, right? But you've made it your own. And so what made you, it's okay, I'll say it's a twofold question, right? At what age did you foresee yourself? What brought you to the saxophone at what age? And then why the saxophone?
So the age that made me interested in saxophone, I was actually 7 years old. And from watching TV, I was watching The Simpsons, and I saw Lisa Simpson playing.
Simpson.
And
Okay,
it was
okay.
that episode. It was like season 1, season 2. And she was playing. She was learning how to play her instrument, and she met a guy named Bleeding Gums Murphy.
Come on.
And at the time, she was 8 and I was 7. So by kid math, I had a year, and I could sound like this little young girl. So I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So I told my mom, like, Mom, I want to play saxophone. And she was like, saxophone? Like,
Wow.
you want to play it on sports or like be a firefighter or something? I was like, no, I want to play saxophone. So I told her about it. I was like, look, this is what I want to do. I begged and pleaded. I got on her nerves. She was like, okay,
Wow.
let's take you to the school and let's ask the teacher. So at the time, we were living on the east side. I was at Fleming Elementary. And we went to the band teacher. I think he actually had one of the worst last names ever. His last name was Mr. Gooch. And as a 7-year-old, I didn't know what that was. So like, we didn't make fun of him. You know what I'm saying? He was safe. He was safe in elementary school. Middle school, they would have let him up.
It was a rap.
It was a wrap. So we went to the teacher and it was like, hey man, you know, I really want to play this instrument. I'm so interested in playing saxophone. And he was like, okay, what grade are you in? I was like, 2nd. And he was like, oh, unfortunately, band starts at 3rd grade here at this school. So we can put you on the list and we can have you start up next year. And I was like, no, I want to play now. Like I have to start now. I want to play now. I want to get good. And he could tell like I was serious. And he was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So he passes me a little white recorder that they give all the kids early on. And was like, well, we're going to give you this book and this recorder. And we'll give you a couple months to learn these songs. It has fingering charts in it. You can learn how to read some music. And bring it back to me in 3 months. I said, okay. That was on a Thursday. On Monday, I went back to his class. I gave him the book. And I said, these are the songs that's in that book.
Shut your mouth.
And he was like, oh, no, this kid is serious.
Yeah.
He's serious. So,
Yeah.
so he was like, okay, we could put this to the side.
Yeah, okay.
Here's your saxophone. And from then on, man, like I just never put it down. 2nd grade, all the way through elementary school, middle school, high school, college. You know, I this is what I've been doing ever since. So, yeah, it's an interesting journey.
When did you, of course, you know, you learn other people's music. When did you get to a point where you found your own sound and wanted to do, you know, music of your own?
I would say 2000, maybe 2004, 2005, something like that. Like I was composing and arranging music in high school. So I graduated in 2003. Which is
DSA, yes, come on, alumni. Okay.
21 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, so I was doing my own thing then, but kind of just like finding my own sound, right? And it wasn't until, and I remember when it happened. Like I remember the importance of my senior year, like the music that I was listening to then, because I had a mixed playlist. I was listening to Philadelphia Freeway. I was listening to Dwelle. That's when I discovered Dwelle off the Subject album that came out in 2003. And I was like, who is this guy? And it was like, oh, that's Dwelle. He's from Detroit. How you don't know him? And I'm like, I'm about to research him now. You know, and like that neo soul in that time, that era of music, that genre of music, it led me to the D'Angelos, the Erykah Badu's, the Maxwells, the Eric Benets. And I was like, and Roy Hargrove, like, and I was just like, oh, this is my lane. These are my people right here. So that really did it for me. Discovering the music by Dwelle, and then I learned music from the Foreign Exchange the next year, and so that had more like a hip hop side to it, and then I discovered Slum Village from there. I actually discovered Drake from the early Little Brother and Foreign Exchange.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they had a song together years ago, and like
Drake
was on his like backpack rap. at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. When I heard that stuff, it really resonated with me, and I was like, this is the sound that I want to make. This type of music. Because I never really felt like I was a traditional sax player. You know, like I'm a kid that grew up on Finkel. You know, so it was either music, basketball, or the streets.
Yeah.
And I sucked at sports. You know, like I didn't get a chance to play them until my senior year in high school, and that was from skipping classes. You know, like other than that, my mom, she was like, "Yeah, they outside playing, all my other siblings, but you're gonna be in here practicing this instrument. You're gonna learn this John Coltrane. You're gonna learn this Grover Washington." I'm like, "I hate this thing, man. I just want to be a kid, man. I want to ride my bike." You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, "No, you got something special, and I done bought you this instrument. You ain't about to waste my time or my money."
I know that's right.
You know, so. Yeah, so that's what we did, and I think it was 2003, 2004, something like that. That's really what like sparked it, and I put my first project out in 2009. So it took a minute to like really find and scale down what songs I wanted to put out and all of that stuff. But you know, everybody's first songs always kind of have a very similar story. I didn't have like a immaculate studio that I was in. I was in an attic on McNichols or like Puritan and Livernois, you know, making music on a little rolling machine. And you know, it sounded like it had a lot of what's the word? What's the nice word to say?
Not the nice word.
Let's say locally cooked rap. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, locally cooked. Yeah, it had a lot of those sounds in it. So it was like, I'm going, I've done this a time or two. You know, I want nobody come knocking on my door like, what you say about locally cooked? And you know, Detroit, it has its own acquired taste, right?
It does.
You know, just like our pizza has its own acquired, but now it's a popular thing.
Indeed.
But at the time, you know, it was for me. I was like, I don't want to make rap music, but this is the only thing I have to make it.
Sure.
So I used what I had, you know, to my advantage, and I played on top of it. And if you listen to the first album, you can hear a lot of that, you know, those nuanceical sounds where it's just like, oh no, this sounds like a bunch of stuff that'll be in a rap album, you know, or in a hip hop album. So yeah. That was about that time.
What's very interesting to me is the saxophone, or really any instrument, you're usually in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to take that step to say, you know what, I want to take the lead and I want to do my own album. And then for that to transfer into a lot of the artists that you've said, you've been on stage with, you've toured with.
Very
like,
fortunate.
how does it transfer to that?
I'm big on manifestations. And that was even before I like really understood what it was. You know, I just remember as a kid, like writing in my notebook, like the things that I would want to see and do and happen in my life. And I didn't realize at the time, like I was manifesting destiny, you know? And I think that's really what it was for me. Excuse me. Yeah, for a lot of time it would be those artists, and I would draw stage plots. And in their stage plot, I would draw me next to them.
Come on,
yeah, like I would literally do that. Like that's what it was for Dwelle.
Okay.
It was crazy because like I think 2003, I got hip to Dwelle, and it's actually a really similar story in a couple different artists. But 2003, I heard Dwelle's album. I remember we did Carnegie Hall my senior year. This was Subject.
Yes.
Yep, this was Subject. And Without You, it wasn't even Find a Way that I heard first. Without You was the first song I heard, and it was just something about them drums. I was like, God. So like. I remember hearing that song, and I was on the bus coming back from Carnegie Hall, and I was 17, and I remember like drawing what I would assume his stage plot, just because based on like the instruments I would hear, and I was like, I hear, you know, all these other instruments. I hear flugel, I hear trumpet, but I don't hear saxophone. He needs a sax player, is what I would tell myself. Let me go ahead and draw myself in there. So I inserted myself into that joint. So
I love it.
And it was similar with the like how I met Zoe. Actually, I was on the road with Eric Roberson, and the day before one of our shows, well, we had a couple shows, and one of the shows I got food poisoning. Oh, no. And I was sick as all get out. I mean, it was the worst. It was the worst I had ever felt, actually. And we were in Columbus, Ohio. And the next day we had a gig in Indianapolis. And I felt good after that. Like I had it was my first time I ever had a hot toddy. And I was like, I had to be like 22 maybe.
22, you just had your hot toddy.
I hadn't even had like real drinks. Like this was like probably my first drink ever was at like 22. And I had a hot toddy. This lady was like, go get you a hot toddy, baby. You're going to feel better in the morning. So I went to the bar at the hotel, like, whatever a hot toddy is, give me one of them. And I drank that thing. It was out of there.
Oh, yes.
Got up the next morning, I felt like a brand new person.
Absolutely.
So we do the show in Indianapolis. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Eric had an after party, and at the after party, there was a DJ named DJ Metronome. He played a Zoe joint called Nothing Greater Than the Sun. And it's just something about Detroit drums that you hear them, and you just be like,
Indeed.
okay, he's from here, but who is this?
Yeah,
I don't know this song.
yeah,
so I
for
ran
sure.
up to the DJ booth like, bro, who is this playing?
Sure.
He was like, oh, man, that's this guy named Zoe Infante. And he was like, he's from Detroit. And I was like, I'm from Detroit. He's like, oh, how don't you know him?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a great question. I have no
Sure,
idea.
sure.
So like I did my research. So I actually reached out to Zoe on Twitter when Twitter was like the thing. I was like, yo, man, I'm a huge fan of your music. Love what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to work on you with some music. So he gave me like the prices, like a regular person would give you prices. Okay. So I was like, all right, well, I ain't ready for that. We're going to come back to him in a couple years. But then I'm his music director. Like, it's crazy how that works. But like,
my goodness.
It's nothing but a blessing, man. But I was like, I'm going to work with this guy. I'm going to work with this guy. So it's
manifestation.
Really Absolutely.
It's so real.
Not only do you play the sax, you sing.
Talk about it.
Let me see them cards. Where you getting this research from?
Listen, and doing my research.
Yes, girl, doing your research.
Because I was really excited about you coming on the show.
Absolutely.
And podcast.
Come on.
Manifest the show.
Come on.
Okay. Look, my dad, let me tell you something.
Come on.
My dad, my bishop, he manifested. I ain't gonna say he manifested. He prophesied. Y'all got me saying manifest.
Fair enough.
He prophesied.
Tomato.
My podcast. He knew nothing about my podcast. When I say he knew nothing. And I went up Sunday, for prayer. He's like, yeah, daughter, you gonna have a podcast. I was like, hey, Dad, I've been planning a podcast for some months. Nobody knew.
Come on.
God gave you that for me.
Absolutely.
And he's like, you keep going, in about 6 months, you're gonna have a show. I said, oh,
amen.
nah, God ain't tell me that, but have your way.
Listen.
And I said it. So look, it
There
gotta
it is.
happen now.
And it's
So I was excited to
Power of
have
the
you on
tongue.
our show.
Come on.
hello.
So
Yes.
and in my research, I found that you sing. And I was blown away. And I was like, where did this voice come from?
Yes.
So when did you decide to, mix the 2? And where did these vocals come from?
Well, I'd been singing for a really long time, but I just never really used it. Just because, I've had prior bands and I was never wanting to be the lead singer. I've always wanted to be the supporting cast, And in my previous marriage, my ex-wife, she was the lead singer, and I was there for that. Like, let's support our lead singer, right? I just want to do the music director stuff. So I would sing every now and again on like background stuff. And I think every album I have, I've sung in the background of things, but never like, okay, I'm also a singer.
Okay.
And it wasn't until like you have to step out and do your own thing. It's like, okay, you got to pull out all the tricks.
There's a great appreciation when it's you out there on that
absolutely.
microphone.
It's like,
absolutely.
Okay, now what you gonna do? Because
Yes.
you ain't got all these other people. It's you. So now what?
Yes,
so
sir.
I had to step up to that. But like in stepping up to that, I had to own into my craft. I had to take lessons. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just talented, so let me sing.
Sure.
Because going to DSA, man, in the heyday of DSA, you had to have a certain bar of excellence when it comes to that talent.
You better believe it.
Because, man, there's a look that people at DSA will give you.
Like, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board. This might not be your ministry.
Okay.
This might not be your
This
thing,
might not be
baby.
it. Yeah, you
Baby.
I'm gonna draw a picture or something. 'Cause
Hey,
this ain't
but
it. So yeah, like I was it was kind of forced into me, right? Like I just had to like step up and step out on it. And with the last single I put out, which I was actually mortified to like actually let people know, like, hey, I can do that. I never classify myself as a singer because I know so many great singers. I will say, on occasion, I like to sing.
Okay.
But I don't classify myself as a singer, just like I don't classify myself as a guitarist or a drummer or a bassist. Like I'm a multi-instrumentalist.
Okay.
So whatever instrument is there, I can make sound happen from it, and I'll record it, and something beautiful will happen from it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with the voice. The voice is just a very, very raw instrument, and it takes a lot of control to own in on that. So I'm still learning how to do those things. But
I remember the first time. Well, I had heard the single, so I knew you were singing. And then I will never forget. It was when Shane Park changed from Shane Park to the Aretha Franklin, right? And so it was him and his band, and they were on the show, and my sister and I were there. And we were already on the road together with Charlie Wilson at that time, but then we were off road. We were just off at that time, and so we had a show, so we were supporting as we would do to each other, And I didn't know that it was going to be him, and then he brought his son on stage with him. And so I'm really big at, we are two wonderful independent black women who support women in general, no matter what, what culture and everything. But we're also very, 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 we hone in on our men who are exceptional men, And so for me, that was such a powerful moment. And so I just want to take this time to say kudos to you.
Yeah.
For you had that moment, and it was your moment, and it surely was, and all of us, because everybody, I think like half of the whole amphitheater was like Saxappeal fans. Okay, so everybody's like, oh my God, he's singing. Oh my, like if I could have panned the room, everybody's face was like, he's singing. Oh my God, he's singing. Oh my God, it was that whole thing, and then for you to then have your son come out. And it was that home moment. And we got to share that moment with you. Kudos to you, my man, for real. My brother from another mother.
Yes,
you are just always so great.
Be coming back with a good question.
Ooh, we got something for you.
All right.
That's good.
Just focus on the good. Oh, I'm good, yeah.
We are back with Grammy nominated.
Saxappeal. Grammy nominated.
Yes.
That's no little piece, okay? So we talked about, we came off of the how monumental it is that you being a father, you being an artist, bringing all of that together. And so for you having all of this going on, and we've already, we jokingly say Grammy nominated, but this is the real deal. Let me see my camera. This is facts. Yeah. This is the real deal. Okay, for real. So how do you go from social media, having to prepare for that, having to brand on that, to real life? You have a private life, you have a social life, you have your set of friends, you have your artist friends. How do you separate the two, or do you separate the two?
For a long time, I didn't, and I had to realize, like, hey man, you're not Saxappeal. Like that's your business, that's your brand. That's that's not who you are. It's not what you are. It's a business. You have to separate.
I'm doing
the two from each other.
Yes.
It's Gwendolyn from Grid Nation. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be on all the time.
Gwendolyn.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. That's somebody that know me. Okay.
Yeah.
He know me for real.
Come on. All the sisters. Come on.
You sure do. Okay. And they all said hello. So I resonate with that. So my friend, my good girlfriend here, there was a time where sip your water. There was a time where sip you. There was a time that I didn't separate Gwen Nation from Gwen. And I remember my good girlfriend sitting across from me with her beautiful self. We had a very heavy heart to heart at this time. And she was like, who are you? Like, are you Gwen? Are you Gwen Nation?
You get lost in it. You will absolutely get lost in it. And if you allow the artist side to like take over, you will not find yourself. So you have to be able to separate the two.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How do you separate the two? How do you differentiate Saxappeal to regular life with regular friends versus artist friends versus being in the studio versus sitting at home on the phone? How do you differentiate the two?
To be honest, I wish I could take the full credit on being able to separate it. I had to have a very long talking to. My girl had to tell me like, hey, you home now. That Saxappeal hat got to stay at the door.
There we go. Okay.
I need you to be Ladera right now.
That's
because,
real.
Saxappeal wants to like talk to everybody in the audience, wants to give hugs to everybody. Sure. He's bubbly, so like that's cute and all for the stage, but sometimes the messages go a little bit further than the stage.
That's real.
And I had to tell myself like, hey man, like you that's a dangerous place to be.
Had to set
Yeah.
boundaries.
You know,
for
absolutely,
yourself.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
for
you know,
sure.
with those boundaries being set, you know, I'm in a happier, healthier headspace, mental space, spiritual space, just because it allows me to like be a person in woo softball. That's a lot of pressure, you know,
Yes,
to
it
have to be
is.
that same person on the stage as in real life, you know, and on top of being a dad
Yeah.
and being in
Sure.
the gym all the time and running a business and just regular domestic duties.
And
Paying
I
the
do-
DTE
I
bill
do-
is a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on top of that and all the
Yeah.
other stuff.
I want to back up because you did say that. You are fit. You do this for real. Like I've been on the road with you. We've traveled together, and you take the time, no matter where we are, what city, what continent. It doesn't matter. You're gonna work out.
Yeah.
Health and fitness is.
So what
it
you
means
said? Put
something to you.
dumbbells in your bag? Like how does that work? I want to know. You know,
Typically,
jump rope.
wherever it is
like-
that we go, they'll have like if they don't have a gym, then I'll find a gym. And if they don't have a gym anywhere, then I'll make a gym. Right. So like there's the calisthenics, there's your cardio that you'll do, push-ups, sit-ups, all of that stuff. Like so if they don't have like a gym at the hotel or near the hotel, Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, something like that, there's a lot of like little hacks that I learned on the road. Like
Okay, I'm gonna share a personal story.
all right.
We were in Pennsylvania. Okay, we're traveling, and it's in the morning. I don't know why we were all up because we were up late the night before because we had a show. We were up. Everybody's like kind of just outside. It was really nice. We're just having a good old time. It's the background singers. We were the Charlie Wilson. We're just chilling. We're having a good time.
Okay.
And it's like we're on like a corner. All of a sudden, we see this person running towards us.
Like Baywatch?
And it's Baywatch. It's yeah, all of that. And he's like, and here's the thing: as he's passing us, he's waving to us. Okay, so it's the slow wave. But
about
let me
to
tell you,
play.
this man will find a way to make sure he stays in shape, and I appreciate
So
that
it's
too.
like, my name is Saxappeal, and
Yeah.
I am a fitness addict.
Yes,
Like,
yes, and I
Okay.
appreciate that.
I became in that. So I made the discovery that I do have an addictive personality.
Okay.
And
Well, tie it all in.
fitness became one of those things. Like you know, again, like early on, you know, this is my approaching my 9th year into my fitness journey.
Awesome.
I'm to the date. August 1st is when I committed myself to the gym.
Wow, that's my
And
divorce date.
Wow.
so we
Wow.
both committed on the come on. All right, word.
Commitment is commitment, baby. It's
That's my
okay.
girlfriend's birthday, so it's just like one of them,
okay,
dates.
yeah,
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
yeah.
Like I'd be like, hey, happy anniversary, happy birthday. You know, so we celebrate
And you're like,
big
happy
on that
Fitness Day.
Yeah,
It's all-
absolutely. It's just
great.
one big celebration, man. But yeah, like I just it became a lifestyle. You know, because at first it was a stress relief. I started my fitness journey on a treadmill. My fitness coach was like, man, just get there and get on the treadmill, just walk. You know, just walk, try and, you know, get your mind off of some things. So I started there, and maybe about a week into it, I felt myself starting to feel good. My confidence was kind of coming back because and prior to that, I was in a really depressed state. And, you know, so like one day I was like, hey, man, I think I want to like go down and try some weights out. And he was like, well, just start at the far left, which is like 5-pound weights.
Sure.
And whenever you feel confident in building up, go to the next one and go to the next one and go to the next.
Sure.
So I started from 5 and I went all the way down to the 75,
Love
you know,
it.
piece by piece.
Love it.
But it was just consistency, you know. So I mean, and that's anything that I do in my life. I just try and be consistent.
Okay.
And grind hard. You know, like that's just one of the things that we learn,
Sure.
you know, from just being Detroiters. You know, like our backs are always against the wall.
hustle
We always
harder.
got these chips
We
on
just
our
hustle
shoulders.
harder. We just
You know,
do. Yes.
we just have to
Yeah.
grind. Man.
Absolutely.
So like, and it was the same thing, you know, in the fitness journey. I started to see the results and was like, okay, no, this is a thing. You know, not only did I start feeling good, but I started having confidence. Like, okay, shirts is starting to fit a little
The
different.
shirts are shirting.
My legs is legging. Okay, so like it just felt good.
Did
So I
you,
was like,
you
okay,
wear the
let's-
Hoochie Daddy shorts?
how much can we talk about? Yeah, I do wear the Hoochie Daddy shorts.
You got Hoochie Daddy
Yeah,
shorts.
I mean, you
man.
said you was feeling yourself.
Yeah,
so
like I had to, you know,
You know,
the thighs be thine. They be out. My girl like them. So,
There we go.
so
That's all that matter right there.
If she like them, then I love them.
okay, that's all that matters.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
that brings us to our segment, our hot seat segment.
Okay.
Wait, all this wasn't already the hot seat? It's about to get hotter.
Can you take any more?
Take your sweater off.
This is just the good.
Yes,
question.
it's our good section, and so it's our we always choose 2 personal questions that we would like to just ask you. So you want to go first, Pete?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Ladero.
Real person. Come on.
It's personal now.
Tell us something that nobody knows that you would like everybody to know.
Something that nobody knows that I want everybody to know. Dang. But if I say it, then everybody gonna know it.
Yeah.
So we let it out. Exclusive.
You know, and this is a super random one too.
Okay.
Actually, if it ain't my favorite movie, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time is Mean Girls.
Really?
Yep. And a lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
Almost nobody knows that. So now everybody knows
everybody
that.
knows it.
So I'm gonna start. People gonna start sending me
You
gifts.
guys
and
heard
shit.
it here.
Heard it
Right.
first.
Mean Girls. Okay.
Yeah.
Mean
That's my
Girls.
joint. Not
So
the
everybody go
remake,
rack it up.
not Mean Girls 2, because that was
Yeah.
awful. The original Mean Girls. Tina Fey did a phenomenal job in casting. And the jokes are hilarious.
Yes, they are.
Everything about that movie is. I
Oh
love
my
that
God.
movie.
There's
Love
so
it.
many one-liners in that movie.
There is.
That's
There are
dope.
so many
love
one-liners.
that movie.
I would that was
You wouldn't have
fire.
guessed that.
Our
Yeah.
good question is good.
Oh, I love that. I love finding out what people know.
Now y'all know. Now
Yes.
y'all know.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so what would you tell someone that is watching your journey? What would you want them to learn from your journey thus far?
To be 100% authentically yourself. There's enough carbon copies. There's enough people out here trying to go viral.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that sticks with me, that resonated with me is, and you know, learning your craft and owning your craft is something that Quincy Jones said. He says, once you start thinking about the money, God walks out the room.
Wow.
So like I take that to
Wow.
heart with everything that I do because
okay.
like even with like me being like into the promoting of my own events and you know me having to pay for these things, I'll look at the money and be like, I what am I doing? I can't do this. Like paying the band, paying the venue, paying promotion, paying marketing, paying all these things, like. And then I'll remember that little bitty thing that Quincy Jones said, and it's like, okay, let's just put the art into it. Let's just pour the positive into it, and all will be well. You know, it's kind of one of them like if you build it, they will come type things.
Yep.
But like when you in the storm, you know,
Yeah.
and you looking at it like, what am I gonna have to sell in order to like
Sure.
pay people? You know,
Sure.
and that's a real thing. You know, you have to tell yourself and remind yourself like you're doing it for the love of your craft. You're doing it for the love of your own brand.
Yeah.
And eventually you're gonna get to the other side where you can tell those stories like, man, I had to XYZ.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
like that's just where we are right now. So I try, and I'm human. You know, we all have those moments where it's just like you have the self doubts and you have those moments like, man, like I just don't know. But God knows. You know, like, he don't make no mistake.
Yeah.
And he doesn't give you anything that you can't handle, but you have to tap into your own powers and say, okay, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my destiny.
Yes.
So yeah, like get out of your own way. I have to tell myself that all the time. So yeah, I would tell somebody who's watching this journey, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park, you know, but it's worth it. And the self doubts, you just literally you have to push them aside and just get out your own way.
That's good.
Is he not amazing?
Listen.
He's not everything.
Listen.
Oh my God. Saxappeal. We have Saxappeal, y'all.
We have
okay.
Saxappeal. So I want to know, well, we would like to know, do you have any upcoming shows, events? You know, tell the people, tell our goodie mob.
Our goodie mob. The goodie mob.
I got some upcoming shows. So we're doing First Fridays down at Flood's Bar and Grill.
I love that.
So our next one is March 1st.
It's my
I think
birthday.
that's where we need to be.
better come on.
That's our queen's birthday.
Come on, Queen.
Okay.
Yeah, come on out. So we're actually not doing April, the first Friday in April. I think that's opening day for the Tigers.
Okay.
So I think they're going to do a DJ. But they did give us Good Friday as a pencil in. So I think we're going to do that. I think it's going to be based on what March 1st looks like.
Okay.
Well, we'll be there, so that's
if we can
that.
pack that joint out and
You
people
got a
enjoying
show
it.
March 1st.
I do, but I can go after.
Where you at?
I am at the Music Hall Jazz Cafe.
Word
I'm
up.
doing a ladies' night.
Okay.
down there. Yes. But you know what? There's always an after party.
Always. Yeah, so we got that coming up. And then with the installment that I've been doing, entitled Flowers, which is a tribute series.
Yes.
We did our first one in January, which is a tribute to Prince. This month was a tribute to Jay Dilla.
Yeah.
So we're taking March off because honestly, I just need the break from it, just
Yeah,
so
for
I can
sure.
I can save my own money up.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
sure.
There are no sponsors. There are nobody who's helping me.
It's
pay
just
for this
you.
stuff. It's
Yes.
just me.
Okay,
It's
fair
just
enough.
me,
Yeah.
You know, to be a buck about it.
Yeah.
It's just me. So I'm gonna take March off so that we can properly promote.
Okay.
But April will be. Well, I actually have the rest of the year lined up, but April will be our tribute to
The
Marvin
rest
Gaye.
of the year.
We do.
Okay,
We
yes.
lined up. So April is the tribute to Marvin Gaye. May is a tribute to Stevie Wonder. June is going to be a tribute to our women of soul.
Okay.
So yeah, like we got the whole year.
Well,
just
keep us in
scheduled.
mind, you know, whatever the cost may be, just focus for the good team. We would love to have a table at these events, and just let us know what we need to do to make that happen.
There it is. I got
There
you.
we go.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yep.
Yes. Well, guys, we can't be more happy than to share this interview with you all with the one and only Saxappeal.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We are honored, Seth. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
coming.
much for
Thank y'all so
coming.
much for
I
having me. I
am
appreciate it.
Portia Starr, and I always want to leave you with our scriptures.
Absolutely.
I will remain confident in this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living.
Yes.
Let's get it. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just focus on the good. We out.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Just focus on